or have anxiety around? Who's got anxiety about getting in this tub?
Right here still.
Okay, cool. Two. Who else? Who's Ed? How old are you?
62.
How does it feel not to be the oldest guy by almost over a decade?
It depends on how well I do.
Let's go, Grandpa.
This is the wife's number on here in case I don't wake up. That's a life alert.
That was a clip from the video that we just put out. It's already on there. If you guys missed that, you have to go back. But nonetheless, that I've been running live events since 2014. 2014 was one of the first live events that I've done. And by far, this last one was the most impactful. And I want to break it down why. And one of the reasons why is we see this thing where men, people in general, not just men, like people in general constantly are self-sabotaging. And what I mean by that is if you're one of those people that like you start a diet, you start a workout routine, you start a habit, and it's going good for a while, and then eventually you fall off, and then you have to recommit, you know. And this is the reason why I don't like New Year's resolution type stuff, because it seems like you're always restarting a plan. Like you shouldn't have to have necessarily a New Year's resolution, because you're always starting a new thing. But we don't. We lose 20 pounds. We lose 20 pounds, and then we put 20 pounds back on. Or we put 30. Let's be honest. We put 30 pounds on. We lose. You know, and then we start an idea that we're going to start writing more. And then what happens? We fall off the thing. We don't ever actually commit and stick to the thing and see it actually through. And people are like, well, I need motivation. I need accountability. I need more discipline. And all those things are true, right? Like we can say that all those things are true, but the reality is there's something else. There's this thing that we're not addressing that is causing this yin-yang thing to happen all the time. And one of the things that we dig into, and I learned of this process probably around 2020, is there is unrealized trauma in your life. And it's shitty. When I found this out several years ago, I couldn't really believe it, but over the years of being in the Agoge and working with men and getting men to be honest, 1 in 3 men are physically abused, have been physically abused, and 1 in 4 men have been sexually abused, which I personally like did not believe. I was like, there's no freaking way. There's no freaking way that 1 in 4 men have been sexually abused and 1 in 3 men have been physically abused. Now, I am one of the 1 in 4. I don't have any issues with it whatsoever anymore, but yeah, 1 in 3. Sorry, I was 1 in 3. So like when I was a youngster, you know, I had a stepdad that was, you know, whatever. So I had to deal with that up until I was 11 years old. 11 years old, there was a huge incident. I got thrown through a closet door. My mom found out, and of course that was the end of that. But she didn't know prior to that. And good on her for drawing the line, right? But one of the things that and guys, because of ego and pride, we bury that stuff down, especially when it comes to the sexual assault, sexual abuse stuff. We bury this stuff down, and we don't own it, and we don't acknowledge it. And this is typically the reason why you constantly are doing this roller coaster. Like you start making progress in life, and then something, you fall off. Whether it's substance abuse, and all of these things are like alcohol, drugs, women, pornography, gambling, any sort of vice, right? Even like finger fucking your iPhone, doom scrolling your iPhone, however you want to call it. Even those things are distractions, and they're vices for not dealing with the things that we need to deal with so that we can move forward. So if you can address this underlying issue that you have, what we have seen is it takes the training wheels off of your issues in life. It takes the training wheels off of this roller coaster that you put yourself on, and now you all of a sudden start to see consistent because you don't have this baggage pulling you down. And it really is like this. It's like the law of averages. It's like, okay, I'm going to get my shit together. I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to be a better husband. I'm going to rekindle my relationship with my wife, whatever the objective is. And then we start to do this, and this baggage that we're not addressing pulls us back down, and it gets us to self-sabotage. And that could be for a lot of different reasons. It could be for guilt, shame, fear of success, whatever it may be, whatever the bullshit that's subconsciously in your head, to deal with that. Now, the first thing that I highly suggest is that you own it. You own it like a badge of honor. And I know that sounds crazy, but the only thing keeping you from that is that ego. Because as soon as you own it, and I don't mean, I don't know, praise it, or if you will, but just own that it happened, right? And like, a good friend of mine says, it's like, are you going to be the victor or the victim? So you can choose to be the victim in this situation, or you can choose to be the victor in this situation. Like, hey, this happened, doesn't fucking matter. I learned from it. You know what I mean? It made me stronger as a person. And yes, believe it or not, people that are victims of sexual assault can be a victor over it. Why? Because it happens to 1 in 4 men. All of a sudden now you become a champion for recovery and champion for empathy and understanding and how to get past it and how to overcome it. And we have guys in the Agoge, several, actually one very close to me, that actually works with me in one of my companies, that he has turned that into basically a superpower. You take shit and you turn it into an apple pie, and that's the reality. And to prove that, there's women that are that were younger and got manipulated into an abortion, and then they had shame and guilt and etc. And now there's women out there that are talking to young women about the beauty of motherhood, the beauty of adoption, and how many parents out there can't have kids and want kids, and because of that, they get to champion that, and it's all from their own personal experience. So again, taking shit and turning it into an apple pie, if you will. And then there's this thing called EMDR. I'm not a fan at all of exposure therapy, where you go and you talk about the worst shit that ever happened to you on repeat over and over and over until it just becomes numb. That's a thing that I learned and I realized when I was working with veterans in the veteran space. That is essentially how you train and teach child soldiers in Africa. You expose them to horrific incidences over and over and over until their mind no longer sees it as a horrific incident. So they become numb to it. And the problem is you're a human being. It's a horrible situation. You shouldn't be numb to it. It should affect you. It's awful. The fact that you feel about it the way that you do is accurate. However, it should be a memory filed away in the filing cabinet, just like any other memory in your life, and you can access it when you need to, but it doesn't cause disruption in your life every single time that you access that memory. So what EMDR does, and I highly suggest if this is something that has happened to you and you're not ready to publicly deal with it or champion it for other people, then you own it yourself, right? You deal with it yourself. You go find somebody that's licensed in EMDR. And what they do is they take that imagine a filing cabinet where all your memories are supposed to be nice and lined and manila envelopes lined up, and you've got this horrific thing that's lined up, and every time you hear something, smell something, feel something, it triggers that memory, and it's just causing chaos in your life every time you're accessing that memory, and the filing cabinet's just getting shooken and it's getting stuck and banging around. And what EMDR does is essentially takes your brain and takes that memory and just files it away the way it's supposed to. And now it's just a memory. And it's not causing trauma in your life every time you're accessing it. So anyways, guys, that was my big thing from this retreat. And again, I've been running events for over 10 years now, and by far this was the most impactful event for these 10 men that I've ever done in my entire life. And I've had events where I've had rooms full of 200 people, and this one this just shows me that this is where it's at. And so if this speaks to you, and if you're not in the Agoge, you can always check that out and join me in there. But if this speaks to you, we're going to Kona, Hawaii, October 2nd through the 5th. We're running the next retreat out there in Hawaii. We have this beautiful compound manor in the trees in Kona. We're gonna be spending some time in the water and the beach and on the island, and breaking bread together. And as I said in every single video, is in this day and age, we're more connected through this than we've ever been connected with. And yet men are more disconnected than ever. And that's just wild, right? 2025, the age of connectivity, yet more than ever, we are more disconnected from ourselves, from our higher self, spirituality, our significant others, our kids, and from other men as well. Like, we're just disconnected from each other. So if that speaks to you, hit me up. There's a link in the description. You can check it out. Check out the Agoge. Check out the retreat in Kona. Hopefully it's not, well, hopefully it is booked out, but hopefully by the time you see this, it's not booked out, so you guys can get in. I love you. Remember, guys, we never quit. We never surrender. We always keep moving forward. See ya. Hey guys, thanks for watching. I really appreciate that. Remember to like it. Remember to drop me a comment. I want to respond to it. I'm actually the one responding to the comments. And if you like this video, you're going to absolutely love this one right here.